All right, you guys, we have been talking about how to make sure you master your intro. And now we're going to go into making sure that you follow up like a boss, because truly the fortune is in the follow up. And I want to make sure that you can master that as a part of your income producing activities. We want to make sure we're taking care of people. So let's get into this. What do customers really want? And I love these two quotes over here because honestly, everything becomes about them. And we got to make sure again that we're coming here and we're creating value, that we know exactly what our customers want. We know what our company does best. We know our products. So we just have to focus on where the two meet. And I think that's a really good way to think about following up with your customers. Think about if you never followed up with them. How would that make them feel, right? It would really make them feel like all you cared about was just selling them a product one time. But when we continue to follow up and build a relationship with our customers and we have this ongoing connection with them, then it helps them to see that we really value them getting a good experience with the product. And we also value what the product can do for their family and the education that can come as a part of that, of empowering them and their life to use and see the value that our products provide. So these customers are truly looking for solutions to their problems. They want to know that you care about them. And they also want things to be extremely simple, right? They want to know, okay, well, if I run out of lavender, like how can I get another lavender? Because my kid gets nosebleeds all the time. I don't want to run out of that. So how do I make sure I can get that? Do I order through you? A lot of times that's what people are wondering. So we've got to make sure that we are making things simple and easy for them in this follow-up process to know and how to have access to the products. So let's talk about the process that we go through for follow-up. Just like we have with our other sales conversations, it's going to look very similar. We're going to have an agenda, right? We're going to learn about their goals. Again, we're going to revisit those from what they had told us during the intro section. We're going to explain the features and the benefits of those products, and we're going to make a wish list of things that they really want to have in their homes, some of which maybe they already have and some that they don't have. Our goal here is to make sure we teach them how to use their account and we help them understand the value of LRP. So if we walk away and we have these customers that understand those things, then we've done a good job in this follow-up conversation. It's also good to explain the referral process, whatever process you have in place for referrals, and we're going to really dive in deeper into that, and also about continuing education events. So it's really important that we connect our customers to continuing education through multiple avenues of whatever really suits them best and what they pay attention to. So those questions come into play. So this is what we're going to review as we go through the follow-up process today. So as we look at what our agenda will entail, here's a great example of how you can set an agenda to your customers during the follow-up. Today we're going to review your goals and make a list of all the things that relate. Then I'll show you how to order so you can save the most money. A lot of people make mistakes here and I don't want you to miss out. Then I'll explain how the business side works because most people want to know, and even out of curiosity. Is there anything else you'd like to go over today? Right? So as we're setting that agenda, we're again making everything about them and letting them know what to expect and making sure we ask the question to include anything they want to make sure they go over. Now, as we move into the next step, we have to learn about their goals, okay? So here's a really good example of how to learn about their goals and what to say. So I think I remember some of your goals, but I don't want to miss anything. Can you remind me of your health goals just so we're on the same page, right? So you can take out a piece of paper, you can jot things down again and allow them to elaborate now really on the things that maybe were brought up in that initial conversation. They probably have a little more trust of you now in this conversation. Maybe you were even in a big group, so there were things they didn't really want to go into. But when you're doing a personal follow-up with people, and I really love making that individual, then you're able to really dive in deeper into things that are going on. And, they're going to probably expose and take away some of those layers to get to even bigger root problems that are going on in the family. So here's some tips. we want to make sure that even if we remember, right? I tend to have a pretty good memory, honestly, of when I meet with people, and things for some reason like I just retain, but it's not going to be helpful for me to just rattle off everything I remember, right? And honestly, if you're meeting with a lot of people, some of that can get confused in your mind, right? Of like, oh, was this the one that was dealing with this, right? So allow them that space to speak, because people really love to speak. They love to talk about themselves. I mean, it's just human nature. People love to talk about themselves and kind of talk about what's going on with their family, and to have someone there just to listen and to be willing to write it down and have something that they can offer, possibly as a solution, is such a gift to people. So make sure you let them speak. Then another suggestion that I think is a brilliant idea, and I wish I had done this in my business. I usually just would write on the forms, but then, people wanted you to destroy them. So it was hard for me to keep track. And I think that's why I always tried to lock those issues into memory. But one thing that's really good to do is to make a Google document and have all your customers in there so that you can reference different things that stood out to them, maybe product highlights for them, maybe core issues that they're dealing with. And a lot of times people love to see maybe the things that you guys went over today, that maybe like a 90-day routine that you put them on, or that you discussed would be a good idea, or maybe you guys looked it up in the book together and you came up with something, and you can just copy and paste that to them, but then you have it in a document for future reference. So as you have continuing conversations with this person, or as the company does promotions, or maybe there's a BOGO available that would interest them, you can easily just search the document itself and pull up, oh man, Breathe is, on special this month, it's 10% off. I should let, these people know who brought up respiratory issues or seasonal allergies, right? So that's a really good way to track your customers. And if you haven't, if you already have customers, it's pretty easy to just go back through and create this at the follow-up. So here's a good little script for verbiage when you're doing the wish list itself during the appointment. Okay, great. So they've kind of told you what else they want to make sure that they cover. You can say, okay, great. Let me grab my book and catalog here. I don't want to forget anything that will really help you. We're going to make a list that you will be able to keep this for reference and add to over time. Unfortunately, it's not likely we'll connect every single time you think of something that may relate to our products. I wish I were a mind reader, but this list will really be a good reference tool for you. As you, and you may want to get a resource like the Essential Life book to help you as stuff comes up. Do you have a pen and a piece of paper? Okay, cool. Go ahead and write these down. And then you can explain all the products, even the ones that kind of you covered in that initial appointment, that match their goals and wants. Now, I've brought up last time that one of my favorite things to utilize is these Essential Life books, you guys. And I'll tell you that this is a huge thing. Even if you're having people purchase them, this is a really good tool to have on hand or to show people how to purchase, because it's such a great resource for people. And we never want to lock ourselves in of being the expert in any situation, because then people will feel like they have to text you every time they're looking for a solution to something. And we want people to connect the habit of checking their app or using this book as a resource so that they feel empowered to know what to do. So here's some additional wish list tips. Have fun with this. You think about how fun it is to have a personal shopper. Like if you were to have a personal shopper and you were telling them all the things you wanted, all the big events you had going on, and then they just connected you with to match all of those needs and wants that you have, or maybe you have a girlfriend or, a friend that you love going shopping with. And, every time you go with them, it seems like they just help you find the exact right things. Well, that's what you can be for your people that you're doing these follow-ups with. So don't look at it as drudgery. Look at it as an opportunity to have some fun with people and get to know them and build a relationship and bring so much value. The second one, just like I just talked about, make sure you're not doing and making these suggestions from memory. I know as you do this, you may not feel like this right now, but as you do this over and over and over again, you're going to get pretty good at knowing the things that people could really benefit from. And because you're going to start seeing a lot of the same things over and over. So just make sure you always rely on the book and the app or maybe even the catalog. The catalog is like a book in and of itself. It's incredible as a resource to help you know suggestions. I also believe that the Empowered Life series that goes through different topics really based on specific issues and body systems is a great reference tool to make sure you're showing your customers during this follow-up that that's a resource available to them. Make a comprehensive list of products that will help with the goals and compile it in the Google Doc. I can't reiterate that enough. It's just so nice to have for years and years and years and years as you go back and like, how did I meet this person? I haven't talked to them in 6 months. I want to reconnect, right? So the next part of what we're going to do in our follow-up appointment is teach them how to order. So this is a really important part. So I'm going to go through some verbiage and then we're going to talk through some tips on teaching people how to order. So here, let me explain the best way to order. You will definitely want to use the Loyalty Rewards Program feature because you can get up to 30% back in product credits when you order and your shipping costs back in product points. In fact, that savings means, in essence, you'll get a free, maybe it's lavender, often, since you'll go through that oil pretty fast, right? In fact, last month, I, was able to accumulate $100 in free points just through ordering through this program. Let's set up an alert on your phone for a few days before the order will come so you can change it or delete it. I don't want that to be something that's discouraging to you. Okay, now let's go to the website. Here's your customer number. Log in and give them a quick overview of the site and then say, let's set up your next order. You can set it for any day you want like this. Based on how much you're going to use lavender, you will probably need more of that, so let's add it, okay? What else do you want to add? What things stood out to you? Oh, well, these are things we talked about, right? Oh, great. How does that feel? And so you sit there with them, logged into their account, you create the loyalty rewards order, right? You pick a date, and this doesn't have to stay, right? But you're demonstrating and showing them how to do it. And most of the time, people are like, oh, that sounds good. That's so easy. I can totally do that. And, we painted that picture to see how they can build their supply over time, the things they're going to run out of more frequently based on, the routines that we've set up during the call or the things that they brought up that we know they're going to be using on a daily basis. So one thing that I love here too is, you can continue to just add products that they bring up, and maybe they've got the catalog in front of them and they're like, oh, I love this. And so you just type it in and you show them how easy it is to find. And then at the end, they can take away or add on. So we're going to go through some of those tips. So when we talk about this, we want to make sure we keep it really simple. I love that we can be confident to tell them what to do and why, because nobody wants to miss out on the free benefits. And this is really a lifestyle. So of course, people have the option to order whenever they want, but this is such a better way, even if they're just going to get one product a month, even if they just keep their loyalty rewards order at 50 PV a month, they're going to continue to increase in the amount they get back in free product credits, all the way up to 30%. So that's quite a bit of savings when you add that in and the shipping credits that come back as free product for them to use and get. And I love sometimes to even log into my own account and show them how many points have been accumulated and what it looks like to earn back at 30%. So we always want to tie back the savings and the rewards to the things that they have on their wish list, those specific items, again, especially the ones that are going to come up more frequently. Make sure you go right to the website, log in, set up their order with the wish list items. You can always delete stuff out, but we like to demo exactly how it works. I'm telling you, when I do this, people stay on LRP. When I don't do it, if I'm just like, oh, I'll just do something over the phone and I'll just do that later, they don't get on LRP. So this is really a way to rock out this and get people seeing the value of loyalty rewards. Sometimes at that first meeting, it's just a lot for people to understand. So this follow-up appointment is really important to help them and help them understand the value of the loyalty rewards program. Have them save their account information so they know what to do for future orders, especially if we're at their computer and we're in person. I love having them save their information. If not, I have them pull up their phone and out their notes section and write it in so that it's always saved in there. I also like to text it to them. I have them pull it up in their email so that they can remember that number. Make sure they set an alert to notify them before their order is going to ship. A lot of times in the beginning, people get frustrated, like, I just got my, what is this going on? And we don't want people to feel that way, because that's how they get a bad taste in their mouth about auto ship programs. In reality, if we do our job to educate them and to prepare them and help them to know, yes, doTERRA usually sends an email, but what if something happens in the glitch? What if they don't check their email? So we got to make sure that they also put it in their phone. And again, just like when we're setting appointments and we're having people do things themselves, they're going to lock it in better if they're putting it in the phone themselves. Okay. I really recommend doing this in person or doing it via Zoom. Again, a Zoom account is free. You get 30 minutes for free showing your screen, which is awesome. The rest of the time can be conversation, but really utilize this feature, because then you can show your screen and it makes it so easy to facilitate an interaction with a follow-up, and it makes it feel more personal. So the next part of this is going to be promote hosting an event. So, we're going to have a whole series on referrals, but this is a really good time at a follow-up to ask people to host an event for you. So here's some really good verbiage around that. The next thing to chat about, Jessica, is whether or not you will want to host an event. I'll run it by you, and then you'll be able to decide. Either way is okay with me. I just want to make sure you have the option. One of my friends hosted an event for one of her customers. 3 people showed up, and just for having some of her friends over and giving them the opportunity to learn about the products, she got $120 in free product and like $80. That's pretty cool, right? Well, here's how it'll work. We'll set a date. I'll give you an approach of what to say to invite everyone. We'll have fun, and if they buy, great, and if not, no biggie. We'll still have fun. My part will take about 30 to 40 minutes. If it takes longer, it's because they're having a good time or we're really helping someone to decide. What do you think? Right? And then you let them feel that out. Like, yes, no, that's not for me. Yes, that sounds good. If they say yes, then say, great, I'm going to help you. The first thing is to set up a time. Here are a couple of openings that I have, and we'll start inviting people just like 4 days away. Now that we have a date, here's a piece of paper of exactly what to say. How does that feel to you? Right? So super easy. And we already know how to invite people, right? Because we have those scripts of setting appointments, and we can tweak that easily to let them know how to invite people to their event that they're doing. And so I am excited that, this is something that we can offer, because again, referrals are a huge way to build your business. And while you have people there who've had a good time and they're excited and they're ordering and they felt like value's been created, that's the time to capture and ask this question. Oh, let's go back. So we also want to bring up the business. Sometimes in that intro class, there's not a lot of time to go through the business and to really invite people, necessarily to the full thing or to understand the full thing. So it's good at the follow-up when we're getting that one-on-one time that we just go and check this out, right? So when we're talking about exploring the business, this is a really good thing to say. The last thing I want to review today will be the business side. Have you ever thought about running your own business? If they say yes, say, okay, great. Why is that important to you? Well, here's how it works. You can go around doing conversations just like the one I did, which is pretty simple, right? I can show you how. You'll earn commissions on each sale, and as your customers repeat orders and your team grows, you'll earn additional bonuses. What a lot of people love about it is the flexibility, and after a while, the passive income. Is it something you'd like to learn more about? If they say yes, then say, okay, let's set up a time to go over this in more detail and the next steps. We can do, and then give them 2 options, which would be better for you. Okay, no problem. And if they say no, this is great. Okay, you still have a response. If they say, no, I'm not really into that, you can say, okay, no problem. The door is always open should you change your mind. And the next step would be to learn more and set up a plan. I promise to never be a pushy leader. We will focus only on reaching your goals. So again, we're removing that pressure, but we're letting people know if they change their mind, then to let us know. I have found so much that as people use the products and I've extended this invitation, that they'll take me up on that offer. If I never extend the invitation, they aren't really sure that the business is even an option. Some people are like, oh, I didn't even realize there's a business side. I didn't even think about that, right? So we have to extend that invitation. So as we look at finishing up this conversation, right, we help explore the business opportunity with them. We kind of get a feel and a pulse on that. And that helps us to know how we need to move forward, right? And then we have to create some kind of plan for ongoing customer connection, because again, we don't want to just have them at an intro and then follow up with them and then just be like, peace, we'll see you guys later, good luck with that, if they don't want to do the business. So we need to have some way to connect with them. I love that, we will really create our own brand by how we treat people. The value that we bring in this follow-up, especially, just having this one-on-one time with individuals is so important, because it really helps them to understand that this is about them. And people that feel like they've been valued and heard, and that they've attended something and they've learned so much, or their life is better for it, or they feel happier, or they love the friendship that was created, or they just really like you as a person, then they're absolutely going to want to be a referral system for you. And they're just going to have had a positive experience. So you'll know you brought some happiness to someone's life. So let's talk about ongoing customer connection. A lot of times we love to do continuing education through Facebook groups. And our team Facebook group where we do product education is called Oil Authority. And any of you are welcome to add your new customers to that page as long as they're within our team. There's usually all kinds of continuing education events. Maybe you're holding one, maybe your team's holding one, maybe corporate is doing a continuing education event in your area or online, right? So this is something that's good to let your ongoing customers know about. It really shows that you care, and it helps you to proactively grow your volume so that you're not just reaching out to people at the end of the month when you're trying to hit a certain rank or a certain goal, or with certain promotions that are running. That's not the only time you're talking to them when you need something, right? You want to have this relationship that's getting nurtured consistently over time. So make sure when you're with each person that you identify the best way to communicate with them. Some people prefer phone calls. Some people prefer you to text them. Some people prefer and love to use Facebook Messenger, and other people emails, right? Like learning through emails with email marketing campaigns, or even just you reaching out to them personally through emails. So know what works best. We have so many communication apps now on our phones that it's good to understand what people prefer and make that note in your Google Docs so you know how to best reach out to this person. Always remember that we care about them, not the product. So make sure that that's your attitude and that's the way you're showing up to these appointments. So as we look at creating a contact example for an ongoing customer that we want to reach back out to, this is a really good script that you can utilize, maybe if you haven't talked to someone in a while. I'm reaching out to you because I want to do a better job of keeping in touch and supporting you. How are you doing? How are things going with your, right? And you can have triggers that you have in your Google Doc to refresh your memory if you don't remember yourself. What I'm doing right now is going back and doing these cool wish list appointments to help my customers know what will help them now and in the future. Is that something you'd be open to, right? So I love that we can go back, we can check in with people, and then lastly, you can always use this too if they want to, or even if they don't want to set up the appointment. Okay, well, off the top of your head, what other challenges are you having that you could use some quick tips on, right? So making yourself available as a resource right then to connect and to offer a solution so that, again, you're bringing value with each interaction. So when it comes to promotions, we need to understand that this is what customers want to know. We have to come at it from a customer standpoint, right? So why do I care about this promotion? How am I going to use it? How is this different than other products that I have, right? And doTERRA does a lot of promotions. Our company is incredible at giving us tons of free stuff. We have BOGOs that take place a few times a year. We usually have different promotions every month or every other month, right, that we can let customers know about. So we want to make sure that, again, we're making those notes on people so that we know why they care about it. We know how to explain how to use it and how this is different than things they've already ordered. So really good notes are going to help you to be able to make sure that you do these things in a way that brings value to your customer. Customers also want to know the easiest way to purchase these products. So anytime that you're doing things, make sure that your buying process that is explained to them in the most simple possible way. Okay, So now we're going to take action. You guys know I'm all about applying these principles that we learn. So I want you to practice this follow-up invitation and appointment with, you can practice it with your kid, you can practice it with your spouse, you can practice it with a friend, you can practice it with your mentor in doTERRA. Get some practice. Reach out to your customer base and schedule their follow-up, okay? Whether that's someone who's been someone you just never got a follow-up with, or someone you forgot to schedule with, or maybe you were new and you weren't sure what you were doing and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't do that, I need to go back and do that. So reach out and schedule follow-ups with any person that has purchased from you. And then guess what, you guys, it's so easy because we just do that and do it again and do it again throughout our whole doTERRA experience of building a business. Anytime we enroll people, we're going to go through the same process. And that's why when we go back to those income producing activities and we're looking at, how are we spending our time each week? Our time is being spent introducing people to oils, doing these follow-ups, right? It's going to be spent doing business presentations to people and getting coaching ourselves or giving coaching to our leaders that we bring in as business partners. So you'll see that this becomes a core piece of what you're going to do to have a successful week each week. So make sure that you master this, that you practice it, that it's a skill you develop. And if you need help with it, right, reach out to people who have been doing this for a while and let them give you a space to practice and to receive feedback. So hopefully this will help you to create more value for your customers, that you can brand yourself as somebody who genuinely cares, that brings value, and that they know will be a consistent help and valuable relationship in their life. Okay? Thank you guys so much for joining today, and we'll see you in the next video.